Hi, friends. Kind of a rainy Saturday here today, so of course it's a good day to stay in and damp. Why not, right? So today I wanted to go over how to make two things. One is this kind of a corner angle pop-up card. So you can see the front of the card, and then when you open it, you see how that little bit pops out. And then I also want to look at making a desk caddy, which is like one of these. So I'm going to start with the card. And I did see this from Dawn Griffith, and she had a Valentine angle pop-up card. If you want to look at YouTube, she did a great job on this card. And so I thought I'd try some of them, and I really like them. So your card base, I'm going to make one of these with you, and then I'll show you a couple other ones that I did as well. Your card base is just a regular piece of 5.5 by 8.5. And you're going to fold that in half, just like you normally would. I hope some of you are maybe stamping along with the video, because that's fun. We've got two pieces of white that are both 4 by 5.25. Okay. Got two pieces of designer series paper. And this one's 4 by 5.25, and this one's 3 3/4 by 5. And then I've just got a scrap piece of paper that's 4.25 by 5.5. And we're going to start with that scrap piece of paper, and we're going to make the template that we're going to use. So in order to get these angles, you want to cut a template out of your scrap piece of paper. So you will just, and it's 4.25 by 5.5, so that you're going to end up with the right size. And if you will just measure down 2 3/4 on this side, and put a little dot there, and then 3.5 across the top, 3.5. Okay, and then just so I don't get confused, I write that on here. 2 3/4. All right, so now you can, if you want to, you can take your ruler, connect those, draw a line, and then cut that out, or you can cut it on your trimmer. I'm going to use my trimmer just because I've got it right here. Okay, but scissors work just fine. Okay, and so now I've got this corner template that I'm going to use to make the card. So first thing we want to do is get the base. All right, so this is the base. Again, 5.5 by 8.5, and we've just folded it in half like you would to make a regular card. And you're going to sit your little template on top of that. Now, if you want to use a piece of like removable tape or low tack tape to keep this in place, you can. Right, and then I just laid my ruler right over it, because you're going to want to score this. Okay, and I just took my bone folder and went like that. Okay, so now I don't know if you can see or not, but my front is scored. Now I want to also score the back, but you can't turn it over and do the same thing. See, so because you've got this scored, so you want to just move this right around the back, and that way you're scoring in exactly the same place. So let me show you that again. We scored here, okay, with the 2 3/4 and 3.5. And then I'm just going to put that on the back so that it's going to be in the exact same place on the back. Take my ruler again, just alongside where I've got that template, and then take my bone folder. Now, if you'd rather line it up in your trimmer or something like that, that's fine. All right, so now I've got a fold here and a fold here. All right, so then if you will just take your fingers and kind of make that fold on the front and the back. Okay. I start out with my fingers, because if I try to just close the whole thing down, it seems like it doesn't fold in the right place. Okay, so now that's folded. Make sure it's good and folded. Fold this little, this little piece on the inside too, just to make sure. Okay, so now this piece, the card is folded, see, like this. Then your pieces start to make sense. So on the front, we're going to have a layer of white and then a layer of designer series paper. So we're going to take one of those white pieces that was 4 by 5 1/4. And again, we're going to put our little template up here in the corner. Just make sure to butt it up against both edges so that you're flush. Okay. And then you can just take your scissors and trim that. Again, if you'd rather make like a light pencil line and put it in your paper trimmer, that's good too. But for me, I find that just cutting it with my scissors work just fine. Right, and then I'm going to put that right here on the front of the card. So I'm going to use some snail because that happens to be what I've got close here. I've been having a lot of fun with this fold. Dawn did a great job on coming up with this. Okay. So now I'm going to take the smaller piece of designer series paper, which is 3 3/4 by 5, and I want that to fit right here. And again, all you have to do is take that same little template, put it in the corner of this one, and trim it. Either with your scissors or make a light pencil mark and use your trimmer. And that's going to go right on top. Got my stamp and seal, but it's over at my desk and I can't quite get to it. I prefer that because it seems to hold better, but for right now. Okay, so now I've got the front of the card. All right, so then for the inside, again here, I want white on the bottom so that I can either stamp something here or I can write something. And then another piece of designer series paper at the top. So again, now I'm doing the exact same thing. Taking my little corner template, putting that flush against the two edges, trimming that off. I think the card gives a big wow factor, even though it's really not difficult to make. Put that aside. Grab my white. And that's going to fit right in here. Now, I'm going to also add this piece here, but because I've made this fold and I don't want it, it's not going to line up right. If you will take a 1/2 inch off of this side, and I did that in my paper trimmer, so lined it up and took off a 1/2 inch. Now this will fit very well, and of course not be on the fold. You don't want to have to fold it, otherwise it would be, too bulky, I think. All right. Okay, so there's my bottom piece. Now I'm going to take the other piece of designer series paper, which was the 4 by 5 1/4. Put the template in the corner. You're doing the same thing each time. And that's why when you make that one template, then you know that everything's going to be the same size on the card. And I just did that backwards. Okay, so see how this is? So note to self, I'm going to end up making this one this color because I did not trim it the right way. So be careful when you're doing the inside piece that you have the paper lined up the way that you want it. This one was upside down. That's okay. This is very close in color, but I'm still going to put it on there. And then this piece, again, is going to be a little bit too big. So I'm just going to trim off the 1/2 inch on that side. Well, when I make a mistake like that, hopefully it helps you from making the same one. It's like note to self, watch the direction that you're cutting. All right, there we go. Okay, so now basically the card's done. All that you need to do at this point is just decorate the front of it. So for this one, of course, I chose to put a couple of these poppies on the front and the one on the inside. So I will do those right quick. I'm going to take, oh, I have an extra one of those. I'm going to take my adhesive and put some on my craft sheet there so that I can dip my sponge in it and put some on here. Now let me get this lined up first where I know that it needs to go. It goes that way. Okay. And then I'm just tapping the back of it with the glue, and that's easier, easier, I think, than trying to just, put it on there from the bottle itself. And my hands are going to get all sticky. That's okay. All right. Do the other one. See if I can do a better job on this one. This craft sheet is nice because once the glue dries, probably even before the glue dries, you can wipe it off. But once the glue dries, you can just flake it off. And it doesn't leave anything permanent. I'm having a time today, aren't I? This is the way it goes. There we go. All right. Around. The nice thing about using the liquid glue is you have just a minute or two to get it in place. Okay. So then I would just attach two to the front. And I'm going to go ahead and attach these, and then I'll go back and put some more adhesive on them. But just make sure, because these are going to hang over, that you only put adhesive down towards the bottom. And the other thing that you have to watch on these, using some of this tear and tape, other thing that you have to watch is that you don't want to put them higher than where the card's going to be, because then it's not going to go in the envelope. So my adhesive is there. Put this one there. And then I would add another little one here, maybe some leaves. I'll just finish showing you on this one. Here, and again, on the inside, just attach it here where it's going to go, and make sure that it's not going to be so long that it sticks out the side. Okay, so then from there, I'm kind of liking keeping these as they are, and then when I need one, I just take out one of these mini messages, and I can put on, I'm happy to celebrate these moments with you, or, congratulations, thank you, oops, hooray, it's your birthday. And I think that goes really nice on there, which is why I stamped them all in black, because I think that pretty much always matches real well. Okay, so let's look at, get the glue out of the way so I don't glue anything. Let's look at some of these other cards. So I made this one with the daisies, same exact way, but just added the daisies on the front, and then one on the inside. This time I had the paper going the right way. But again, when you put these, see, I almost went too high. You want to make sure it's going to fit in the envelope, so don't put them up higher than this line or wider than this line. So I think what Dawn did in her video was she lined it up on here so that she would know, she could follow the lines to see how long that went. Okay, and if you don't have die cuts and you want to just add something there, you can add just a rectangle piece of paper like I did here, and you could stamp something. So I did that and did this happy birthday on the inside. And on this one, I didn't decorate the top here the whole way. I just used a lot of these different coordinating papers because I thought that was kind of, festive, So there's a nice little birthday card too. They're all made exactly the same way, using this and making sure that you use your template. And then you use the same template for all of the pieces that you cut. and you'll be fine. All right, so the desk caddy, I don't do a lot of things like this, but this I have found extremely helpful because I can keep my glue upside down. And so that way when I'm ready to use it, I don't have to, do one of these. It's all ready to go. All right, so if you want to make one of those, just take a piece of paper that is 6 by 9.5. And Mary Kate Scott is the one that came up with this design and shared it with us. Okay, and then you're going to take the 6 by 9 paper, and on the 6-inch side, you're going to score it at 1/2 inch and at 4. So you can go, see, I'm going to 1/2 inch, and then I'd score it, and then come down here and score it at 4. Okay, then turn it to the side, and on the 9-inch side, score at let me turn this over. 1.5, 1.5, 3, 4.5, 6, 7.5, and 9. Okay, and you'll end up with something that looks like this. I don't know if you can see all my score lines, but go ahead and burnish all of your scores. I have found this just to be so handy because my glue, I've got a place for it. It's always ready to go. I'm really liking it. And I've seen quite a few more. I might demonstrate another kind that hold more. If you only have one thing of glue, this could also be good to hold, if you have the one thing of glue, your scissors and your tape runner, they could all stay right there together. So it doesn't just have to be for glue. I just happen to want to keep mine in there, but you could put anything in there that you wanted. You could put your bone folder, you could put your scissors, you could put your pens or your Wink of Stella, whatever you wanted just to keep together. All right, so now that you've got all those folds made, if you will take this little tiny rectangle and that little tiny, and just cut those off. Okay, and then on these, if you will, just cut up to the score line. So these are the ones that are at every 1.5 inches, and we're just cutting all the way to that 4-inch score line because we're going to need to be able to fold this into a hexagon. Okay. Now, if you want to decorate the outside, like we have here, she actually had us use some of this shiny paper, which gave it a little bling, and then a piece of designer series paper. Today, I'm just using some designer series paper, and they're all 1 1/4 by 3 1/4. There's 6 of them. I'm actually glad I'm making another one of these because I can keep one up here and one on my desk. And that way I'll always have my stuff together. I think you see me sometimes fumble around going, oh my gosh, where's my scissors? Where's my bone folder? It's nice to be able to just have a place to stick it back. And decorating it, like I said, it's optional. You could do anything. You don't have to put designer series paper. You could put some die cuts. You could put some stickers. You could leave it totally blank. Just leave it as cardstock because it's just going to be holding your stuff. It's not a... But if you're going to make them for other people, somebody for their desk, then I would suggest doing that. Okay, so this little 1/2 inch at the top is going to get folded down. Okay, and that just kind of helps to reinforce the top because you're going to be putting stuff in and out of here, and that way it kind of keeps it from getting bent. All right, and then this is going to go together with that. Okay. And then we'll do those folds. So for this, I recommend don't use snail. Either use liquid glue and hold it till it dries. Use the tear and tape or the red line tape because, again, you're going to be putting stuff in and out of here and you want this to be very sturdy. All right, so now that's together. All right. So now when you're putting it together, we've got these pieces we're going to fold down. If you will take the two that are across from each other and line them up, again, you can put a little tear and tape, you could put some liquid adhesive, you can kind of do whatever you like. I'm using a piece of the tear and tape. Okay, and then you're going to fold those two that are across from each other like that. Okay, then do two more that are across from each other. Again, this kind of helps it to keep its shape. I find that if I just kind of try to go around in a circle that I end up with a very misshapen shape. It's not even. I got a little too long, so just fold it back in. Okay, these two across from each other. Do that. And then these last two, I'll glue those down. I don't want to give up the cover on them. Okay, there we go. All right, so now you can just take your bone folder and kind of push it down in there. So isn't that cute? Okay, now on this one, she then gave us a circle to add on the bottom, just kind of for, so that you don't see this so much. So I did not punch one of those out ahead of time, but I'll punch one right now. I think that paper's close enough. That was my paper I used for the template. I don't know, I might want to use the bigger one. I thought that was too big though. We might have cut those with the die cut, but this is just fine. See, and again, that's just kind of reinforcing the bottom. And I will use the liquid glue that's all ready to go because it's sitting upside down in my desk caddy. All right. So now I will let that dry. Like I said, I could put that in there. I could put this in here. I could put this in here. I could put a liquid glue in here. And I just really think that those are adorable. So again, our angle pop-up card, like this. Okay, not hard to do. Just make sure to use your template to make all the folds so they'll be even. Don't forget before you're going to add this piece and this piece to cut a 1/2 inch off of the edge. There was the original one I did with the poppies. I'll add that onto the other one. Here's the one with the daisy. And again, I'll just put my words here. And then here's one that I think is a very festive birthday with words, in a rectangle here. And then I popped up the happy birthday on the inside. Put a little piece of white on top of that. See, this time I didn't layer and put all the white and everything. I just used a single layer on each side. So I hope everyone has a wonderful day and stay safe and healthy. Thanks.